Oh, I see him. Oh, I see him right now while I'm surgery from all the way across the freaking map. We have got the flanks today, Ben. Got a G28, and he did have a FLIR, bro. Winning PvP fights in Escape from Tarkov often boils down to two things. One, being able to quickly and accurately aim and hit your target, and two, being able to use your map knowledge and the environment around you to win the mental game. Now, while everybody likes to W key in and show off their nasty flicks, and that's cool, I actually think the average player would get a lot farther and get better at the game much quicker by practicing and mastering the mental game. So let's talk about it. So what do I mean when I'm talking about the mental game of Escape from Tarkov? Well, in all my thousands of hours of Escape from Tarkov, I've seen two things almost always reign true. Now, not every time, you kind of have to be prepared for everything. That's kind of the point of Tarkov. But one is that people will almost always hang out in the area that the fight is happening. So whether that's a long range fight on woods or a close range fight, when you engage with somebody, most of the time they're going to stick in that area for a long time because they're scared that if you're moving around, if you're flanking, that if they move out, they're going to get shot in the back of the head, and nobody wants that to happen. The other thing is they will focus on the area that they last saw you, your last known location, and they will be paying attention almost exclusively to that for a lot longer of a time than you think. And you can use both of those things to your advantage and basically learn how to master flanking and surprising your enemy and catching them off guard. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a woods fight that I had. We're going to jump to kind of the best parts of the fight, and then we're going to go back and break it down and show these things in action. This ended up being me against a guy with a G28 with a thermal on it. So this is kind of like a subcategory of like how to counter thermals. It's all about movement. It's all about winning the mental game and not being where they expect you to be. So we'll watch this and then we'll go back and kind of break it down.
Wait, you behind us.
Are you gonna shot it?
Yeah.
I have no stamina because of this. Oh, I'm gonna die to that. Dude, I have no stamina. I'm gonna die to that.
Dude,
and I'm so confused.
Where is this guy?
Is that you shooting?
One. That guy was coming from Duffel, though. I don't know where this guy is. Oh, this guy was like closer down to the water.
Whoa, no.
Oh, fuck. I'm dead. I have no idea from where. Didn't hear a single gunshot. Guy had those subsonic M80s.
Naturally. At least now I know where he's coming from.
What the heck? This is nuts.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Hey, what's up, Red Mango?
Probably my last one too.
Dude. Oh, I see him. Oh, I see him right now while I'm surgery. Oh!
No! Sorry, he'll never see you. The bush is powerful. The bush is powerful. We'll never see you. We'll never see you.
I can't believe that. I literally spotted him. Got him. So that fight was super fun, and there's no better feeling in Escape from Tarkov than aiming on your enemy and having their back to you. They have no idea where you are, and you've been stalking them, and you kind of like won that mental game. So we'll go ahead and break down the fight. So obviously the whole kind of first part of the fight is just him engaging with us originally, and it was a 2-man. My buddy took out one, and then the guy with the thermal took out my buddy. We're in a really bad spot here. We're down by the water. I can't run directly behind me. Obviously, I've got the water to my left. I think I'm going to die to some nades. And we quickly kind of just like push up. We're pushing away. I'm pushing up a little bit past the campfire here because it gives me more options of escape. And we kind of just spend a lot of time back and forth trying to figure out, because it's a suppressed G28. I have a G28 that's suppressed, and my teammate has a G28 that's suppressed. So it's kind of super confusing. And we're trying to figure out where we are getting shot from and if this guy's moving around. We take a lot of time basically just kind of chilling around here trying to figure out where exactly he's coming from. My buddy gets dropped, and I kind of do one final sweep towards the water. I see him. I start taking shots. I know I've got M67s, which I can lob super far. So I lob it. Of course, as I'm pulling out the grenade, I see the guy. So I take a few shots. Obviously, in this situation where I've zoomed in, I've acquired him as a target here, but he clearly has acquired me first. So he's already crouched. I'm still kind of like looking for him. I see him. I'm about to drag over, but I kind of rush the shot because I'm super scared that he's going to pick up the headshot. So basically, I'm rushing that shot to suppress him, but I successfully push him back. And then this is kind of the first thing that tips me off. I push him back, and then I start taking damage. It could have been that the rim of my gun, was blocking him. He was on the other side of this bush, but I couldn't see him here, and I start taking crazy damage. He hits me a few times. I think I'm dead here for sure. So that was kind of like in the back of my head, like this guy might have a thermal. But basically, now that I know where he is exactly, and now that we've engaged and he knows where I am exactly, I immediately, in the first half of this fight, we were kind of lollygagging. We were just kind of trying to figure out where this guy was. Now that we have engaged with each other and we both know where the other person is, I immediately take this opportunity to completely reset this fight. Now you see me checking down here. I'm at least trying to kind of do a cursory check of the angles. Is there anybody across here? Is there anybody up on the road here? Was there anybody down by the bushes? This is kind of a dangerous push because the lumber mill is a super contested area, so there could be other people. I end up taking out this scav, but I just want to take a long angle away from this guy. I need to heal. I don't want him closing the distance. I don't want to die to a random nade. So we pop the Propital, which is going to heal us over time, and we absolutely haul it. We get across the road. Now, this just comes down to map knowledge. I love making these super long flanks on woods, and I know that I've got a voodoo, and I know that all of this is very open. There's not a whole lot of hard cover going on in woods. So I know that I can get away, but actually still be a part of this fight. On something like customs, you probably wouldn't have run that far away. I start the surgery, start to heal up. And actually, it's pretty insane. But right here, I don't even know if you can see that, but I'm looking through this bush and I can actually see him running along this tree line. It's really hard to teach how to do that well, how to spot enemies. That's one of the questions I get the most often. It's really just, I've played woods so many times. I know what's going to be moving and what's not going to be moving. Everything I'm looking at here, other than the actual branches, are going to be completely stationary. So I'm not looking here. I'm just looking everywhere and looking for movement. And that's the only movement I see. I see him crossing over. And that tells me a lot of information. It tells me that exactly what we talked about earlier was right. He was hanging out in that area by the pebbles over there that entire time I was making a flank. Now, he did eventually decide to make a move, but the fact that he's on the other side of the road, I've made this move a bunch of times. He's using these hills on the other side of the road as cover, as if I'm down by the water, but that means he's completely exposing his back to me. So I finish up the heal, and that's obviously a super rough position. I just saw him. I want to clean up the kill, but I'm keeping my distance. There's not a whole lot of hard cover on woods. There's just trees and the occasional rock, so I am a little bit exposed here, but I'm pretty sure that he is once again laser focused on me being over there on the other side of the hill. So we kind of just like take our time, use any hard cover we have. I'm always up against a tree. I'm always up against a rock, and we're just kind of scoping around. And then right here, we see him moving. Now, once again, he started at the rocks just beyond here. I saw him moving around while I was CMSing, and he's continuing to move. So all of that time that I was flanking, all of that time that I was CMSing, once again, those two things we talked about earlier, he was doing. He was hanging out in the original area where he engaged with me. And even when after all this time he did decide to make a move, he's making a move as if I'm still in the last known location. If I'm him, I basically do this in complete reverse. If I'm him after that engagement, I cross the road early. Back when I was crossing, I crossed the road early to these rocks, and then I start moving my way up on the opposite. Because by making the wider flank, by making the wider play, yes, you lose the enemy and you're like, oh, but what if I never see him again? But this is what saves me here, because he's looking, I didn't know for sure, but he's looking at all this area where I was with a thermal. So being behind him is huge because he's not looking at me. I definitely kind of whiffed some shots. I try to wait to see if he's going to stop. He looks like he's really going to be hauling it. This looks like a big move for him. So I kind of try and rush the shots and get the kill. Luckily I do. It takes 4 or 5 shots, but you know, we end up dropping him and, you know, taking that loot and taking that thermal. So this isn't just a woods thing. You can do this on shoreline, interchange, every single one of the maps. There's so much cover. It's just learning about the map. It's learning what type of cover, what type of angles. I knew with a 308 weapon and a voodoo that basically this entire half of the map on this side of the lumber mill, I knew how to maneuver around it, and I knew that I could reach out and plink somebody if I saw them. So we went for the super wide flank. And like we said, a lot of times it boils down to these two things. He will almost always, your enemy will almost always hang out in the area that you originally engaged them. And they will, for a really, really long time, assume you are in the last known location. So you can hack those two things. You can win the mental game by immediately after engaging, if you're alive, breaking far away from the fight, and by moving to a place that's far away from where you were last seen. This buys you so much time. A lot of people are scared that the flank, you know, the enemy will hear the flank and they'll, you know, it'll be ruined, or that they'll end up missing out on the fight. But, you know, look at how much time this bought me. I was able to maneuver, hit 2 Serve 12 kits, and still wrap around and kill this guy in the back. So that gave me every advantage. I was able to heal up, I was able to reposition, and I was able to stalk him and hunt him down. So I hope that that helps. Like we said, it's not just this. You know, you have to be able to aim well. You have to be able to shoot your target. You have to be able to hit your shots. You know, learning how to W key, learning how to clean up those quick kills, that is definitely a valuable skill to learn. But in Escape from Tarkov, in this survival style gameplay and environment and maps, it's built for this. It's built for more of the mental gameplay, the cat and mouse, being able to know how your enemy's going to move and counter that movement. So I hope that this helps. I hope that you can go out there and utilize some of these tips and start winning more PvP fights in Escape from Tarkov. If you liked the video, think about dropping a thumbs up here or subscribing to the channel. I also stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch 6 days a week. All my links will be down below. I'd love to have you stop by and say, hey, thank you again for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.